So we're back, and today we are talking about transformation and personal transformation through perimenopause. And how are some of the ways that we can embrace perimenopause as not just a season of loss in our lives, but as a time of transformation? Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing really well today. I'd like to talk about self-transformation through perimenopause. And rather than thinking about this life phase as a period of, loss or unwanted change, but embracing the fact that it is change. And I want to give you some tips and tools and perhaps some ideas on how you can initiate some of these self-transformations, because there aren't so many. So I hope you enjoy this episode, and please do comment below if you have questions. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you again for supporting my work, and please remember to follow me or subscribe and to like the video. The more that you do that, the more the word gets out, and I can share information about perimenopause with women all over the world. So perimenopause is the 8 to 12 years lead up towards the menopause. The menopause is when you have gone for 12 months or more without having a bleed, a cycle. So the perimenopause period for some women might be 6 years, it might be 10 years, but usually it's somewhere between 8 to 12 years. Social conditioning will tell you that perimenopause is a period of irrevocable loss. So what I mean by that is we're really taught that when we start going through the transition to menopause, that everything is going to change for us, that there are things that we will lose. There's not really a lot of emphasis on what we gain, and nor is there much acknowledgement of everything that we've done and everything that we've contributed in the lead up to menopause. So it becomes very much about what women are losing. And that's really unfortunate, because it's only part of the picture. And yes, there are definitely a lot of changes that you and I as women will navigate as we go through perimenopause that's really different to what men experience at this time of their lives. We might experience changes in the way that we eat, the way we sleep, the way we feel, the way we want to socially connect, or perhaps to disconnect and just hide in our caves. We experience changes in our bodies. Our skin is different, our metabolism is different, our body shape will change. So because there are so many inward looking and outward looking changes for us in perimenopause, often we tend to focus on everything that we're losing. As we navigate all of these hormonal changes, I want to acknowledge that yes, there are a lot of things that we probably won't like. There's also the reality that this is just part of getting older. So all of us, you and I, are getting older every minute. Is that necessarily a bad thing? No, because with age comes understanding, compassion, empathy, wisdom, knowledge. So we are gaining a lot at the same time as we are changing. So for me, perimenopause, because this is ultimately what I work with for most of my clinical life. Perimenopause is an opportunity. It is actually a valuable tool for transformation. And it's really about stepping into our queendom, getting out of the princess era into the queen. If you think about it in terms of goddess forms, it's like moving from Persephone into Demeter, okay? And it's about living our truth. It's about honoring everything that to this point we have brought into this beautiful world, and taking on the challenge now of understanding why these changes are occurring and embracing that. There are little signals and signs that we all receive along the way, and they have a purpose. Their purpose is to prepare us for the change. It's a journey. And I was speaking with a really gorgeous client of mine who's just had her first baby today, and I was talking about how pregnancy itself is really a preparation for birth, because if women fell pregnant and then gave birth the next day, there's very little preparation for the marathon that birth is. Birth is full on beautiful. I'm not saying it's not beautiful, it's beautiful, but you need preparation for these big stages in life. Menopause, similarly, is a big stage in life. So it can be very tough for women if, for example, they have been entered into an early menopause and having to suddenly do their very best to embrace these sudden changes with not a lot of time to really prepare, because there are three major aspects of ourselves that recalibrate in perimenopause to get us ready for menopause. You know, we have a metabolic recalibration, we have a psychological brain cognitive recalibration, and we also, of course, have a hormonal calibration. So all of the signs and signals and symptoms, the symptoms essentially that we experience in perimenopause, have a purpose. That purpose is to help us get prepared step by step for meeting the change. So my question to you now is, what transformation are you embracing right now that will help you to gain clarity into your own perimenopause journey and help you to embrace the change? I wanted to give you a few examples of transformations that you could invest some energy into right now that will help to make your perimenopause journey the meaning-filled experience that it is meant to be. So let's have a look at these. So number one, redefine your self-worth beyond physical appearance. This is a very challenging one. This is one that, in terms of media and imagery of women and the way that women are portrayed and the expectations around women and the way that they look, this is probably the most challenging one. I have to say, my number one pain point in clinic for clients who are coming in perimenopause is that their bodies are changing and they're not liking it. So we need to, as women, challenge some of the traditional beauty standards like wrinkles, body shape, hair going white or grey, body size, and composition, you know. And rather than focusing on the things that we're not really liking, obviously taking proactive steps to look after ourselves and nourish our bodies and feed ourselves good food and good nutrients, rather than focusing on the negatives, instead celebrate your strength, celebrate your endurance, because that's what got you to this point, and that is what's going to get you through this point. Perimenopause is your opportunity now to break free from some of those social constraints. And when you celebrate your body for its strength and endurance, and you focus on what it allows you to do, it really allows you to enjoy those things a lot more. This could be dancing, it could be meditating, it could be singing, it could be cooking, it could be walking, you know, yoga, Pilates, anything that your body allows you to do in its physical endurance and fitness, allow it to do that for you. Celebrate that and do any activity that connects you with your physical self. Number two, prioritize your mental and emotional well-being. So this means that you can have practices, daily practices. For example, you might have a mindfulness practice. You might have gratitude journaling. You might practice meditation. You might see a therapist. These are all things that can help us to balance our emotions and to process what's happening to us. Dedicate 10 minutes a day to a mindfulness meditation, for example. Dedicate 5 minutes to gratitude journaling before you go to sleep. Cultivate a positive mindset. These are all things that will help you to put your mental and emotional well-being first. This is a great time to tell you about a free program that I have. It's email-based. Honestly, people, it's very, very simple. There's just a little video that goes for about a minute or so in each of the emails, but you get tips, lots of tips, what herbal teas to drink, what mindfulness practices there are, what movement, breath work, dance practices you can do. And it's just basically all very holistic approach to nourishing your body, mind, and spirit. So it is free, and I'll put the link below if you want to sign up for that. It comes into your inbox for a period of 5 days. You get a new email each day. It's called Daily Practices for a Healthy Body and a Peaceful Mind, and it is my gift to you to help you on your perimenopause journey, or just to help you or someone you love at any stage of their life where they want to have a little extra nourishment. Number 3, become the advocate for your own best health and hormone balance. So in perimenopause, health becomes a priority because this is a very inflammatory life stage. And when you get inflammation, you start getting a lot of other symptoms that come up and seem to be a little bit erratic. So for example, you might now be getting issues with food intolerances, you might be getting rashes on your skin, itchy skin, or feelings like you've got things crawling on your skin. You might be getting rosacea, headaches, you might be getting just allergic reactions that you've never had before. And that's all pretty typical of perimenopause. So by saying become the advocate, what I mean is that be proactive. Seek out someone like me. So you can see me as a naturopath. You can book in for consultations with me. I've got all my links below. But you might have a naturopath that you see already. But the number one thing is be proactive and take charge of your health. Get to understand what's happening in your hormonal landscape on the inside. The things that are causing the food reactions, the headaches, the poor sleep, the moodiness and irritability. It's the hormones that need to be addressed, but before you can address them, you need to understand them. And this could involve also exploring how herbs can help you to better modulate some of the hormones that become fluctuating and erratic in perimenopause. I'm speaking really about estrogen here because it's, this big myth that estrogen just suddenly drops away and you have no more. But estrogen goes crazy, feral in perimenopause. It goes up and down and all over the place. So herbs can really help you to balance that. Progesterone deficiency is a huge thing that I'm seeing a lot these days, mostly driven by chronic stress. So the hormones can be better modulated and improved with herbal medicine. It could be looking at how diet can lower your inflammation. As I mentioned before, inflammatory symptoms start emerging around perimenopause for a lot of women. So looking at what you're eating and how they contribute to your inflammatory load, and also looking out for symptoms characterized by heat and pain, which are typical inflammation symptoms. That can be another thing that you could investigate and look into. And also you could be looking at things like daily practices or lifestyle techniques like qigong, for example, yoga, forest bathing, or walking in nature. These are all practices that can bring you back to a state of harmony on the inside, and then you kind of reflect that back out to the world because you're just feeling more at peace, more calm, more centered. And by the way, we're all women. I imagine we're women who have been through the menstruating years. Some of us have had kids, some of us have had grandkids. We're in perimenopause or menopause. Think about all the younger girls in your life, whether they are relatives of yours or friends or family friends. You just know these younger girls, teenagers who are starting this journey in the fertile years. Think about how well you're going to model embracing perimenopause and menopause to those girls so that we can stop this cycle of negativity towards menopause, and we can start to implant that these are the wisdom years, these are the queendom years. This is when you're going to really come into yourself, honor your truth, and live for yourself in this world. I mean, what better gift could we have to our younger generations than to give them all of this hope and help them to aspire to a perimenopause and menopause that we are living as well. So please, everybody, if you do want to work with me on your perimenopause, reach out. I have the knowledge and the tools and techniques to help you navigate perimenopause, and I want to do this with you. So my details are below. You can get in touch. You can also read more of my blog articles. You can find me on the socials. All the links are below. I'm on Instagram at perimenopause.naturopath. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, obviously, Facebook. And before I finish, some of us will have a really hard time with perimenopause and menopause. So I want to acknowledge that it's not easy. And these are just some of the ways that I think we can start to change the narrative around how we talk about perimenopause, how we perceive it, and how we embrace it and move towards it rather than trying to run away from it. And perimenopause is a tool for transformation. So let's jump on the train and the transformation train, and let's try and make that work in our favor for us, because yeah, it's waiting for us all, fellow women. It is waiting for us to step into the next phase of our lives, empowered, full of truth, and ready to take on the world. Thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and like. I'm thanking you and your beautiful self. Have a wonderful day. See you soon in another video.